KSK, Albania. Dr. Yacine Djemaiel, CEO, National Agency for Cybersecurity, TUN CERT, Tunisia.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, what an honor to be here again at the Global Cybersecurity Forum in Riyadh. What an amazing event we've had so far. My name is Jane Witherspoon. I'm the managing editor for Euronews Middle East, Central Asia, and South Caucasus. It's my pleasure to be here today with you for our next panel. And what a great conversation we're about to have, gentlemen. This session is going to explore how government leaders can align governance frameworks for emerging technologies, ensuring both ethical implementation as well as practical resilience. So without further ado, we're going to get straight down to business. We do only have two of our panelists today with us. But I wanted to start with you, Dr. Tafa. Congratulations, because Albania has just been voted 18th in the world for cybersecurity based on the Global Nations Cybersecurity Index. It was 54th. How have you done this miraculous move up through the ranks?
First of all, thank you very much for invitation, and I want to congratulate the National Cybersecurity Authority of Saudi Arabia for this big event. Yes, I represent Albania, a small country in the Western Balkan, and we are glad that this is a very big jump. We were 1 year and a half ago in the place 54, and now we are in the 18. So based on the Global National Cybersecurity Index, absolutely is a mixer and a lot of effort that we have done. First of all, we have worked a lot in the legal framework. We have robust legal framework based on the best standards. We have adopted the legal framework last year based on NIS2 directives and Cybersecurity Resilience Act and Digital Act. After this, we have implemented the cybersecurity law based on, we have identified 21 bylaws in order to be this law implementable. And so far, we have finalized 16 out of 21 by making this our country as in the front line of the country that has adopted and not only but implemented the recent directive of cybersecurity. On the other hand, we are working with electronic identification and trusted services. As you mentioned, the emerging technology that all the countries are facing, such as AI, quantum computing, blockchain, cloud adoption, OT, and ICS. All of this is a rapid pace that we have understood that the legal framework should chase it and should adapt this pace in order to be resilient. We understood that as a small country, we might be resilient by starting out by creating a robust legal framework. Otherwise, we cannot carry on with the rest. And we understood that in order to build trust, you should create a very safety security policy in the cybersecurity, starting out with critical infrastructure and carry on with citizens, protect citizens. And one of the important things is providing the support to SME. Just to clarify that SME play a very crucial role in Albania. 70% of GDP in Albania relies on SME. So incentives and grants and supportive and risk analysis and standardization to this sector is very important. And not only this, but we have extended to the rest of critical and important infrastructure. And very important is that we have understood that one of the points that is very important in our legal framework is supportive of capacity building. Since we are, again, small country with a lack of workforce, we cannot manage and we cannot fill up the gap between the advancement technology and the cybersecurity. There's a big gap that needs to fill up cannot only fill up only with the investment in technology, but it needs absolutely the support of experts. In order to do that, we have collaborate with students and university, and recently we have launched the marathon of cybersecurity for all the universities, which is in light with the support of the law that is predicted in the cybersecurity of Albania.
You mentioned there, obviously, the pace of the technology. It's a really, really key thing in terms of how we're keeping up and kind of combating it. And Dr. Yacine, I'd like to bring you into the conversation here. You know, from a legal perspective, what are the most pressing gaps you see in the current Tunisian cybersecurity laws, you know, regarding the governance of these AI technologies?
Yeah, thank you, Jane, for the question and also for the topic that we are discussing today. Now we deal with legal framework, so this is the first layer that should be protected, or we should realize this component, and we work on this component in priority. So for the legal framework, for Tunisia, we have a legal framework since 2004, and this framework have been updated since 2 years. And during this update process, we have considered these new components that are introduced in our cyberspace, and especially also the tools and the emerging technology that we have facing today, such as artificial intelligence, that is plugged to measure all major components in our cyberspace. So this is very important to consider when we try to update this legal framework. And for our case, we have tried to introduce a new mission for our agency in order to deal with this emerging technology and to be able to guarantee that their use will be in safe manner and does not affect the major component of our cyberspace. In this case, we have introduced this new mission, as I have mentioned, and among this mission is a labeling process for targeting equipment in our cyberspace, and this is in order to certify that component will be in normal behavior and will be used in a safe manner by most users in our cyberspace. This is among the process that have been introduced in this new legal framework that has been updated since 2 years, and that helps to, in first case, to guarantee that these components are secure, but also to deal with these new features and the new emerging technology and the change that may be on technology, and we will be able to assess every time that this component is secure and use the new technology and tools will be used in a safe manner. So this is the first contribution or the first action taken by the Tunisian government related to this, what we observe as in changes in our cyberspace, especially for artificial intelligence and all emerging technologies.
What steps are you putting in place? Because you mentioned that you're creating these frameworks and the guidelines to improve it.
Yeah.
But of course, the problem with that is how you make sure that they are passed in time, these new laws, to cope with the advancing technology. By the time you roll it out there, something's changed again. How do you combat that?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is among the points that should make stress. Now, when we trying to update the legal framework, there is an issue that should be considered. This issue is related to the time to take in order to be able to publish this new regulation and that will be applicable. And in this way, we have considered that we should have other actions that be applicable in order to deal with this property regarding this new emerging technology and the time to change from one technology to another. So we have tried to develop a set of reference guides that will be available for major stakeholders and entities in order to give them the best practice that should be followed in order to protect their systems and to ensure that the use will be in a safer manner and does not affect the organization and the overall cyberspace. So we have some set of reference guides that are developed in this way for different technology, either for AI or also for 5G and beyond.
Dr. Tafa, I mean, we were speaking out at the backstage just before we came on, and we said one of the beautiful things about forums like this is it creates an environment for conversation and dialogue and an opportunity for people to come together within the industry to share ideas, share knowledge. You know, cyber threats and AI know no borders. So what role do you see for regional and international cooperation in harmonizing AI governance frameworks, particularly for you in the Western Balkans and the EU neighborhood?
As you mentioned, cyber has no border, do not stop in specific border. You know that we are a country that are a real example that we have suffered from severe attacks, at least for 3 years. And every 3 minutes we have attempts for cyber attacks, and we have a lot of incidents. However, we are aware that with emerging technology, with cutting-edge technology such as AI, as you mentioned, we are more susceptible, we are more affected from the cyber attacks. And it's imperative that alone we cannot be resilient. Mm-hmm. It's very important that we have friends and we have allies that has been very close with us. Not only Western Balkan, of course, play a crucial role because all the Western Balkans are adhering to be part of European Union, and Albania is one of the countries that is closing the chapter of European Union in a very rapid pace. However, which oblige us to execute all the necessary tasks which belong to robust the cybersecurity strategy, plus AI strategy, which is another strategy that is integrated with the cybersecurity. And I want to underscore that the collaboration that we created is beyond the Western Balkan, as I mentioned, and in order to be resilient and to create opportunity to withstand adversity, first of all, we have to be very close, collaborate with each other by shared responsibility. By shared responsibility means that we might create a better collective response. Mm-hmm. And by creating a better collective response, we might create a digital cyber resilient ecosystem much better and much robust. So at this point, in the Western Balkans, this is something that we try to push forward. We try to work together in 2 directions in the Western Balkans, with the strategy level and operational level. In a strategic level, we know that we have to create standardization in a legal framework, in the cyber policy, in the cyber dialogue, and in capacity building. On the other hand, in operational level, we want to create opportunity for threat sharing, for supply chain vulnerabilities, and all of this to be in the form of very good collaboration. And I guess that the Western Balkans, since is not the last station, I guess that at this point the support and the collaborative might be beyond this, even beyond the Europe. This is the reason that Albania is a part of this event, is because we know, and the organizer knows, that in the cyberspace, everything that might occur in somewhere else might affect Albania. For example, we have experience that comes not very close with us, which means that the cyber attacks might come from different approaches based on the situation and geopolitical reasons.
Specifically, when you talk about the cyber attacks and the malicious misuse of the technology, what kind of breaches have you seen? Because, like you say, there's no pattern. And I believe recently you guys were faced with a 14-year-old who managed to get through to a certain level of platforms to, break through that. How do you deal with stuff like that?
You know that to identify all the breaches and to work to patch and to create a robust framework about all the breaches, for sure. First of all, it needs to analyze and to create a clear pattern about what exactly generated from supply chain cyber attacks, first of all. And second is that we need to, I want to go back again to the specific point, that is, we need to work together with allies in order to identify and to have a modern platform for collecting all the vulnerabilities. And to do that, we have to think about in perspective, to integrate the future technology and advanced technology inside of it.
I'm going to come along to Dr. Yacine, who's sitting patiently on the end there. Looking forwards, what legal or institutional reforms do you think are necessary, not just for Tunisia, but globally for the industry, to effectively regulate AI in cybersecurity for the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, we have discussed about the legal framework, but I think the most important component that should be upgraded is the international standard that should consider this new technology and provide the best practices that should be complied when we deal with an important process such as security auditing. So we need that the used standard, common standard, will be up to date within these new emergent threats and tools that are plugged to our components, and that should be checked according to a process such as security auditing. So we need that the standard should be, and the working group, international working group, should consider these new emergent technologies and their threats and react in a way to make the standard up to date. In addition to the most common action that should be performed, especially for awareness, where there is that should be a set of awareness program that may be able to target all components, human resources, in order to face these new threats, especially when using AI within phishing or cybersecurity attacks.
Dr. Tafa, last word, 20 seconds. The biggest reform for you coming in the next 5 to 10 years?
The future in 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years.
Okay, we have the strategy of cybersecurity, 2025-2030, which is for 5 years, which rely, I'm just giving shortly, which is for those which know the technology, is kind of star topology. In the core is a protection of critical and important infrastructure based on people, process, technology gap. And as a satellite are 4 other points, which are the defense and protection of citizens. We are, as a part of protection, we encourage of women and underrepresented groups. Yesterday, we have started the marathon for women and marathon for underrepresented group, plus marathon which has started for the students a few months ago. This is the first satellite. The second is a hybrid threat, since now the cybersecurity is not the only, let's say, threat, but it blended and combined with disinformation, with geostrategic problems. So all of this, we are proud to say that we have signed an agreement with a Center of Excellence in Helsinki. The third is startup and innovation.
Sure.
We are a small country, but we need to innovate in the cybersecurity, especially in AI. We have now the only country in the world that have a minister AI. I don't know how many of you know that. Diela is the name of the AI minister. Minister, it is totally AI. You are welcome to visit and to see and to make an interview with her. The last is the capacity building. So, and international partnership. Partnership is international, is very, very important. So these are 4 points that consider in the strategy of cybersecurity 2025-2030, and it's very important that finally we, as the mission of, or the topic of the conference is strength and cohesive advancement in cyberspace is very important for being resilient after 5 to 10 years.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our panelists. I'm afraid we're out of time for now. Thank you.